What is going on, guys? Welcome to this new episode, and today we're doing a different format. I'm going to almost do like a presentation, and we're going to be talking about how you can overcome the fear of rejection and really step forward to facing that fear and just in general overcoming any rejections you've been having in your life so that, and remember, this is the key bit, so that you can find your ideal partner. It's not just about overcoming rejection or the fear of rejection or any sort of anxieties you have around rejection. It's so that you can move forward and find your ideal partner. Find the partner that is most fit for yourself. So if you're interested, make sure you keep watching. So I'm going to be going through a few different things initially. I'm going to be talking about why rejection can be painful. I'm going to be talking about a few of my experiences, rejection and perception, the cost and benefits of rejection, acceptance and how it can influence rejection, overcoming rejection. So this is where I go through the practical tools and then also meditation. So if you're interested in just the practical tools, you don't have time, feel free to skip through all of this and go to the overcoming rejecting bit. But I would highly advise you to try and stay through all of this and create more awareness and understanding about rejection and how it may be influencing you. Because when you have this understanding, it's a lot more easier to take steps to overcoming rejection and essentially beating rejection. So, why is rejection painful? This is a no biggie. You're going to feel bad about yourself. You're going to trigger emotions such as sadness and anger. You're going to feel terrible past negative memories, so memories in the past that really felt unpleasant. You're going to bring up negative beliefs about yourself. Or all of these things will pop up in your head. And in that moment, that rejection will feel massive. It will feel like a massive punch to your face. It'll be gut wrenching. It'll be, your heart will be beating fast. All of these things will pop up. And that's okay. That is completely okay because no one likes rejection. No matter who says they've beaten rejection and they've overcome rejection, there's always some sort of unpleasant feeling associated with rejection. And I'm going to be going through tips, like I said, to kind of overcome this feeling and understand it better. But I want you to normalize the fact that it's okay to be rejected. All of us, in most of life, have been rejected in some way or not. And it's completely normal to have negative experiences with the rejection. So that's the first thing. And rejection is never nice. I've been rejected a few times, and so several different times actually. And especially during my 20s, I went on a spiel of like going around and talking to many different girls, trying to build my confidence up and trying to find my ideal partner. And through that process, I was rejected abundant full of times. And it always hurt. It always felt like someone punched me in the face, or it was gut wrenching. It felt like, what did I do wrong now? I felt like the date was going well. I felt like the interaction was going well. I felt like everything was going well, and still I've been rejected. Still I've been dismissed. Still I've been ignored. All of these thoughts came up. Maybe it's because I'm not good enough. Maybe I'm stupid. Maybe I'm not good looking enough. All of these thoughts came up. And often these thoughts weren't right. They weren't a fact. It could be because the other person just didn't align with me. Perhaps they were too busy. Maybe they found someone else. All of these things could have happened. But in my head, these are the first few thoughts that kept popping up. And eventually I got to a stage where I was told, talking to 100 women, you'll get more confident, you'll build up, the courage, and rejection will get easier. And although that's true, the feeling of rejection always brought up the same feelings, always felt terrible to me. And I never quite understood what I was doing wrong. After all this time, why was I still not finding, the ideal person for you? Why for me? So why was I not finding the ideal person for me or someone who I can just click with? And it's only when I start to dive in deeper that I start to understand this journey more and understand how rejection had impacted me in the past and how this was influencing my behaviors in the future. So, as I dived in deeper, I started to realize younger memories where I was deeply rejected. So, I say deeply rejected, but essentially what I mean is I was rejected and it deeply hurt me. So, when I was 9 or 10, this is a key memory that popped up during my sessions, like coaching sessions. A key memory that popped up was I was rejected around the age of 9 or 10, and I asked this girl out. It was in front of many different people, and the girl said no, but everyone else around me started laughing. And although some of them gave me props, a lot of them were just laughing at me, taking a piss out of me. And in that process, it made me feel bad about myself. It made me question my self worth, the way I looked. It made me feel stupid, all of these feelings. And although it probably isn't nothing now when I think back to it, and now I've done the work, in my interactions later on, it deeply affected the way I showed up, the way I behaved with women, the way I never really asked anyone out in my teens, the way I lacked courage to ask someone out, the way I was fearful of rejection, all of these things. I would fantasize about someone rejecting me before I had even had the courage to go and ask them out, especially if I liked them. So you can see how one small experience can affect, your whole life. And a lot of you have these unaddressed thoughts, feelings, beliefs, all of these things. And so when you're being rejected, especially when you're being yourself, you might trigger these beliefs. And when you trigger these beliefs, it's going to stop you from behaving your normal self. And so as you go from interaction to interaction, you're essentially being inauthentic. You're hiding your true personality, your true fun self, your true confident self from the person in front of you, and you're pretending to be someone you're not. And although we do grow up, although we do become different versions of ourselves as we grow up and we change our characteristics, some of us are hiding our true nature. And in that essence, when you're truly hiding your true nature, you're stopping yourself from really shining in front of you and really finding someone who can accept you for who you are fully. And if you want to find your ideal partner, I would start essentially identifying these different traits that you're embodying that aren't you. I would stop pretending to be someone else and start looking at the thoughts and beliefs as to why you're pretending to be someone else. Because when you can start identifying those thoughts and beliefs that are actually holding you back from being yourself, that's what's going to help you to find someone who's most compatible for you, and someone who can help you shine, someone who can help you grow, and someone who can essentially be in a relationship with yourself. So, rejection. It can never be comfortable, and it can also influence your perception, the perception that you have of yourself and the perception that you show to the world. So perception is determined by many different things. It's very complex, but I guess we could say some of the things that influence perception are values, belief, memories, emotions, behaviors, and things like environment, past experiences. So as you're going forward in life, let's say you're young, you're 5 years old, and as you're going from a young 5 year old and you're growing up, whenever you get rejected, it can change your beliefs, it can change your emotions, and this can have a perception of yourself, a negative perception of yourself. Maybe you think you're not good enough. Maybe you think you're not good looking enough. Maybe you think you're just not lucky or not fortunate to be that person to be in a relationship. All of these thoughts, as small as they are, and although you can probably dismiss them in the back, they influence your behaviors. You no longer go for the person you may be attracted to or the person that you feel most comfortable around. You no longer act confidently with people that you know, even because all of a sudden you're trying to be someone you're not because you're scared. If you show up in your true nature, if you show up in your true confident self, people around you will reject you, and automatically, in a way, you're rejecting yourself. This is why sometimes people have commitment issues, because they're scared to jump into a relationship and show up as their true nature, because they're scared that deep down the other person may reject them, and therefore you lack commitment because you're already sabotaging the date, the relationship, all of these things. You don't commit. And so, until you are able to acknowledge all of these thoughts, this belief, and understand where they may be coming from, it's going to be much more harder for you to take steps forward to really overcoming rejection, or overcoming the fear and anxiety surrounded with rejection. So, what is the cost of rejection? Rejection, whether you know it or not, is costing you, because the more you try and avoid rejection, the more likely you're missing out on great opportunities. For example, not speaking to women you like because you're shy and you're scared of them rejecting you, not taking opportunities to meet new people because you're scared you'll be dismissed or ignored or not accepted again, and seeing yourself as negatively. The more you avoid rejection, the more you don't face it because of these thoughts and these beliefs around you or in your head, the more you're going to look at yourself differently or negatively, and the more this is going to influence behaviors that don't help you grow, that don't help you shine. And so understanding that there is a cost to avoiding rejection is going to help you move forward, because it's going to help you realize that actually it is costing me. I do want a relationship. I do want to meet more people. I don't want to view myself as negative or as someone who's not good enough. I want to see myself positively. And the more you understand this, the easier it's going to be to step forward and overcome the fear of rejection. And this then leads me the benefits of facing rejection. So the benefits of facing rejection are it allows you to reflect and grow. It develops you as a person from being someone who may be shy to helping you become more confident. Maybe it will help you understand communication and empathy better. All of these things. It may be a blessing in disguise. Again, sometimes when we get rejected, it's not because of you. It could be because maybe the other person isn't a right fit for you. Maybe you're not a right fit for the other person. And therefore, it's a blessing in disguise, because it will then allow you, if you keep persisting and keep pursuing and keep reflecting, it will allow you to then find someone who's more compatible for you and who more understanding and more accepting of you. It helps you grow a thicker skin. If you can if you can overcome the fear of rejection and keep stepping forward, keep facing those fears, what you will find is you will develop more confidence. Confidence will come as you start to face more rejection and you're able to push through it and persist through it. So grow a thicker skin. We want to be resilient, we want to develop more willpower, all of these things, and that will come as you face rejections and you still keep pursuing forward, and you start to realize that a rejection doesn't have to dictate or change your life in a bad way. And the final point I've got here is it allows you to find someone who accepts you and loves you for what you offer. And if there are other benefits that you can think of, write these down, because the more benefits you can think of and the more costs that you can think of avoiding rejection, the more that you'll start to realize that actually you want to overcome rejection, because it will help you get to your goal that you want to. But by not facing rejection, what this is going to stop you from doing is going to inhibit you from actually going forward and achieving those goals, achieving that partner, and other areas of your life too. So, acceptance. Acceptance of what is out of your control will make it easier to take effective action that helps you create a meaningful life while handling the pain that goes with it. What this means is the more you can accept rejection, accept that not everyone will like you, accept that rejection will be painful, but it doesn't have to define you. It doesn't have to define your behaviors. By being rejected, you don't have to think of yourself as negative. All of these things. The more you accept rejection, you're able to sit with that negative feeling and not let it take control of you. The more you're able to do this, the more you're able to essentially go forward and face rejection with more ease. The more I faced my past experiences of when I was rejected, the more I was able to sit with those feelings, allow it to kind of sit there and not really react to it, and understand that with time that feeling will pass. And you know what, I'm going to keep going, I'm going to keep talking to women, I'm going to keep finding my ideal partner, which I have. If I'm going to keep going and keep facing rejection. The more I'm able to do this, the more opportunities that will come up for me. The more I was able to realize that as I was able to accept rejection is a feeling, it's a negative feeling, but equally it doesn't have to take control of your life, and you have still have a power over it. So the moment you realize that you have power over rejection and rejection doesn't have power over you, it's a great feeling. It's going to help you build more confidence within yourself. It's going to help you move forward and take more opportunities, like I said. So acceptance. If you haven't ever practiced mindfulness or acceptance and commitment therapy ACT, I would highly suggest that you look into it. I'm going to be talking a little bit more about it, but essentially these are tools that you can use to really get over that fear of rejection. So now we get to the good stuff. Overcoming rejection. This first activity is essentially a journaling activity. And again, it's to create more understanding and more of a why within yourself so that you can overcome rejection. or the fear of rejection. So who will you become by facing rejection? So this is similar to the cost and the benefits, but essentially it's about you as a person. What will you be able to do by facing rejection? Who will you become as a person, as a man, as a woman, all of these things? So, for example, for me, by facing rejection, I was able to be more confident within myself. I was able to be more accepting of myself. I was able to look at myself and build my own self worth, build my own self confidence, all of these things. And what will it mean to you personally? So, this question is about what do you want the benefits? And for me, it was about finding someone who I can really connect with, finding friends and family members who I can connect with, seizing opportunities in front of me in terms of work and job, all of these things. So the more I was able to overcome that fear, that anxiety, the more I was able to achieve these things. So journaling is a great tool. I promote it all the time. And it's often an easy way to kind of get into the darker, deeper, harder stuff of like kind of facing those emotions and sitting with them. So try this tool out, journal, try it maybe once a week, because what you'll find is you will write down stuff initially, and sometimes you find it hard to write down stuff. But the more you ask yourself this question throughout the day, throughout the week, over every week, you'll find that you will be able to add to it, or you might be able to go more deeper into it and have a deeper understanding of it. So make sure you try and do this. And I would highly recommend trying this for a month, maybe every week, or even if you can, every day before you go to bed. Ask yourself this question, write it down. And like I said, you'll be surprised by what comes up. You don't have to repeat the same thing. You can think of other things. And if you can't think of anything else, that's okay. Just write down whatever comes to your head and then move on. But try it for 30 days non-stop and really ask this question throughout the day. And I guarantee you, you will have more insight than you think over the first week. So, overcoming rejection. The second point, accepting. So, acceptance, learning to sit with the feeling and being comfortable. So, again, the more you're able to sit with that emotion, practice mindfulness. I'm going to be going through a little exercise at the end of this, but the more you're able to sit with it and kind of feel into it and be more comfortable with it, the easier it's going to be in the future when you do get rejected, because it no longer hurts as much as it used to. It no longer affects you as much as it used to. I don't want to say you become numb to it, because you still feel it, but it just doesn't have the same impact. And so if you can learn to sit with it and become more comfortable with it, I guarantee you it will change your approach to talking to women, talking to new people dramatically. And the next little step is taking action, making taking small steps, but also looking at your values. So your values are essentially what's important to you. So some people it's family, sometimes it could be work, it could be success, happiness, peace, all of these things. And essentially, the more you're able to understand your values or what's important to you, the more you're able to take steps forward and really focus on the thing that you want to embody into your life. So the person you want to become, the person or the relationship that you want, you can as you focus on the values of these things, you will notice that actually, although there's people in front of you who might reject you, you can kind of go back and reflect and be like, look, this is the person who I want to be, these are my values. The other person may not have those same values, and therefore it's okay they've rejected me. I want to become more confident within myself. And so, although I'm going forward and getting rejected, it's okay, because again, my value is confidence. And if I'm building more confident despite being rejected, that's the key thing. So, write down your values, and as you go along, and if people do reject you, don't worry. It's part of life, but focus back on the values and start to consider, actually, was I living up to my values? And if I got rejected despite living up to my values, then maybe it's okay. Maybe the problem isn't you. Maybe the problem is that you and the other person just weren't compatible. Maybe the job you're seeking after, or you went for an interview for that where you got rejected, wasn't the right job for you. Now, this isn't always the case, and again, I like to reiterate that sometimes there are behaviors within yourself that you would need to change. Sometimes we're stubborn for no reason or unnecessarily, and maybe we can make compromises. But equally, if you're someone who avoids taking action, avoids going out to speak to women, maybe this is a really good tool to kind of sit down, look at your values, then go out there and face your fears and start to realize that actually sometimes you're actually being and doing your best, and it's not your fault. It's just the person who's in front of you, or perhaps it's just the environment or timing. And the more you're able to realize this, the more confidence you'll build to just carry on going and approaching and talking and doing all these things. And again, if you couple it with acceptance or you couple it with the journaling, this is just going to amplify your confidence and amplify you overcoming that fear of rejection 10 times more. So, overcoming rejection, the diffusion exercise. So, diffusion is from ACT, so it's from acceptance and commitment therapy, what I talked about earlier. And it's a tool to use. So, the aim of diffusion is not to feel better or to get rid of unnecessary thoughts or unwanted thoughts. It's about you taking power of yourself. It's what we spoke about earlier. It's about realizing that rejection will always trigger certain emotions, maybe thoughts in your head, but it's you realizing that those thoughts and emotions don't have to control you. You don't have to react to those emotions or thoughts, and you can take steps forward to being your best self and becoming your best self. So this is a really simple tool that I kind of took, and it's an easy tool to use. Try and implement it throughout your day today, maybe, or tomorrow, or whenever. And essentially, there's three phases to it. Whenever you have a negative thought, especially when you are rejected, for example, if you get rejected and you think, I'm not good looking enough, I want you to say initially, I am not good looking enough. Take a deep breath in, breathe out. That's the first thought you had. Now I want you to be aware of that thought and say, I'm having the thought that I'm not good looking enough. Another deep breath in, breathe out. And now, thirdly, say, I notice I'm having the thought that I'm not good looking enough. And the idea of this little task is not that the thought has gone away or it's disappeared. It might still be there, most likely it's still there, but it's you acknowledging that it's just a thought and not a fact. Because like I said earlier on, if you perceive it as a fact, it's going to influence your behavior, the way you come across. You might come across as less confident, you might get more aggressive because you're more angry, all of these things. But if you can just acknowledge that it's just a thought you had and it's not true, you were rejected for whatever reason, and perhaps they didn't like the way you looked. It doesn't mean that you're not good looking enough to find a partner or a girl or something else. Maybe that you just didn't match their preference. Do you know what I mean? So sometimes we take things so personally and it just changes us. It makes us angry, changes our behavior, stops us from really being your authentic self. And this exercise is to help you and realize that sometimes you think a thought, it's not a fact. It doesn't have to influence your behaviors or your emotions. But for this, you have to really take a deep breath in, stay grounded, and focus on the breathing, because sometimes if you can get too caught up in your thoughts, it's going to be a much more harder exercise to do. So, finally, it's about diving deeper and letting go of past experiences. So, we all have past experiences and beliefs that are holding us back. Past experiences and beliefs are actually inhibiting our behaviors, the way we show up. It may be causing us anxiety, all of these different things, right? And the more you're able to dive deeper and build more awareness and understanding, the more you're able to take steps forward and really achieve your goals. Now, a lot of us can get caught up in diving deeper, trying to fix ourselves and fix our past beliefs, and that's not what I'm talking about. What I'm talking about is essentially having a understanding and awareness that this is what you've experienced in the past and this is how it's affected you. These are the thoughts that you may have developed when you were younger, and then taking steps forward and taking action forward and realizing that you can still step forward and succeed despite having these thoughts, despite having these beliefs. So I don't want you to go away from this presentation saying that all you have to do is dive deeper, because you also have to take steps forward towards your goals. Otherwise, you'll find yourself, yes, you'll become more confident. Yes, you'll take away these thoughts and beliefs and you'll be more understanding and more aware of these things. But equally, you won't have the results that you want because you're not taking steps forward and taking action. To be truly successful and overcome that fear of rejection, you want to take steps forward, but equally, you want to be spending time here and there reflecting, peeling away these kind of old thoughts and beliefs and creating more awareness of who you want to become and how these old past thoughts and beliefs have stopped you. So, like I said earlier, you will only, or yeah, you will always build confidence by surviving rejection. So, what I mean by that is, as you overcome rejection and you survive it, you start to realize that, oh, I was rejected, but actually, it's okay, I'm alive. You know, nothing's really changed. It's only one little moment. These thoughts and beliefs I have don't have to dictate my life. They don't have to take my power away from me. And actually, I can keep moving forward, and eventually I will succeed. I will find someone who I like, someone who I can get along with, all of these things. As you start to realize that, you will start to build more confidence within yourself. So keep taking action, keep delving deeper, and keep understanding all of the little things that you may not be aware of that I've spoken about in this presentation. What I'm going to do next is a little meditation to kind of help you understand how that emotion of rejection may be feeling within your body. It's about sitting with that emotion. It's not for everyone, so don't feel like you have to do it. If it feels uncomfortable straight away and you don't feel safe, don't do it. Just stop. But if you do feel safe and you may have done this work in the past, feel free to try it out. And what I suggest is after the meditation, straight after, grab a piece of paper and start journaling whatever comes up into your head and writing it all out. It doesn't have to make sense, and this exercise isn't trying to fix you or trying to delve deeper and join all the dots. It's purely sitting with that emotion and just realizing that you can sit with that emotion and you can be comfortable with it. And it does take time. You might not get it now, but the more you do it, the easier it gets. And I will be also in that meditation ask you to kind of go back to a moment when you were rejected. Please, if you're doing this exercise for the first time, find a moment that was not as painful. It was very minor. You felt like it was a small rejection on, like, let's say on a scale of 1 to 10, 10 being the worst rejection of your life, which was gut-wrenching painful. I want you to think of a moment that was like a 1 or 2 out of 10, purely because it's easier done that way when you're doing it for the first time. And plus, there's no one else, like there's no therapist or coach around you to kind of support you. So make sure you're doing it at your own pace and at your own speed, and make sure you're comfortable. So if you're ready, maybe go grab a journal, a pad, a pen, all of these things, and find a comfortable spot, and we'll get into it. So, the meditation, let's get into it. If you're comfortable enough, sitting down, finding somewhere comfortable, taking a deep breath in, and then breathing out. I just want you to feel yourself getting more comfortable. Feel your feet on the ground. Feel your feet connecting with the ground below you, and just feel that solid surface under your feet. As you keep breathing in, just feel yourself getting lighter, maybe getting more relaxed on the chair. With the next breath in, feel the weight of your shoulders. And as you breathe out, I just want you to imagine your shoulders going down and that weight slowly drifting away. Breathing in, breathing out. Feeling your chest. Noticing your breathing as it travels down your chest and into your stomach. Breathing in and breathing out. And with each breath, just notice yourself getting more and more relaxed. Breathing in, breathing out. Breathing in and breathing and out. When you're ready, when you feel comfortable, and if you don't, feel free to carry on with this and just pause the video, carry on, and then play it when you're ready. I want you to think of that moment, a 1 out of 2 or 2 out of 10 moment where you were rejected. It could be a small thing, maybe your parents, a friend, work. Notice in that moment, in that scene, how you felt, the emotions that arised. I want you to imagine taking that emotion and feeling it in your body somewhere. So it doesn't have to make sense. You don't have to know where you feel it. But take a deep breath in and just go through your body and notice any areas that may feel a bit more tense, that may feel a bit more stronger, or maybe you feel a bit more tighter in certain areas. And see if you can associate that emotion of rejection, how you're feeling. So maybe you're feeling angry or sad, and associate with a body part. And if you can't think of anything, I want you to feel something. And if you can't feel it or if you find it hard, that's okay. Just make it up. Breathing in. So I feel it in my kind of stomach area around my belly button. It feels gut wrenching. It feels like frustrating, angry. For me, it may feel different for you. Notice it in the body part in the area that you've chosen. And if it helps you, you don't have to, but if it helps, if you're a visual person, feel free to give it a shape, a color. So for me, I find it easy to imagine it as almost like a fist, and it's red. It's even moving for me. I'm just going to sit here now for the next 2 minutes and kind of just observe it. Breathing in and out. And it's okay if your thought wanders, just bring it back and pay attention to that feeling, to that emotion, to that body part if you've chosen something. Breathing in and out. Just notice. Don't try and figure it out. Don't try and make something up or you fix yourself. Just notice it and let it pass. It's okay. It's okay to have the thought. Remember, it doesn't have to define you. Breathing in, breathing out. I'm just going to go for another minute. Sitting with that emotion. So 50 seconds left. Just notice it. See what comes up for me. If it helps you, take deeper breaths in and hold it for 2-3 seconds and breathe out even more slowly. And when you're ready, slowly opening your eyes. Notice how you feel. Do you feel more stressed? Or do you feel a little bit more relaxed? Write down what thoughts may have come up for you. Notice your body. Has it changed? Are you breathing more differently? Are you more calmer? And if you're not any of these things, don't panic, don't worry. If anything, it shows that maybe this rejection and this fear or this anxiety around rejection is impacting you more than you think, which again may is unpleasant right now, but equally, despite it being unpleasant right now, it's an opportunity for you to kind of understand it more as you go forward. So, hopefully, this presentation, this video has helped you. Maybe it hasn't, and that's okay. But if you can take away anything from it, please understand that accepting rejection will likely to you building more confidence and allowing you to overcome rejection with more ease. So for me, acceptance is key. Even if you take a lot of action, yes, you'll get there. But one of the key things that you may learn as you take more action is that despite you getting rejected, you're still able to go forward. And therefore, you will come to that acceptance that actually rejection is fine. But for many of you, I know, especially if you're like me, taking a lot of action just led to more frustration. And therefore, sometimes it's easier to take a step back, go more internally, and find acceptance within yourself before you take action. So, my name has been Jagannath. Like I said, hopefully this video has been helpful. And if it has, make sure you comment down below. Let me know your key takeaways. Let me know if anyone may be interested. And if that's the case, share the video with them, subscribe, like all of those things. If you're interested in working with me, I have a free dating on demand diagnosis session where I will help you find your ideal partner without anxiety, fear, or being fake. Now, if you're interested in that, make sure you hit me up, check the links down below, book a session in. The first session is free, and I help you find what you need to do from take you from the person you are now to the person with more confidence. And often it's not what you think. So make sure you book a session in. Otherwise, you can find me on these other platforms. So I have my own website and also Instagram. But otherwise, I will see you in the next video. And if you've been following me for a while, let me know if you've liked this format and if you'd like me to do more of this format. Thank you.